and a vote to keep terrorists from being able to buy guns. The same things that happened in Sandy Hook and the same thing that happened in Orlando is going to continue to happen. Someone has to stand up sometime. And I'm so proud of the Democrats. I am proud of Hillary Clinton. And those of you who think that she is a liar or any of the other things that have been said about her, you are wrong. And she is the hope for this country. I see that Senator Booker is on TV right now, and I want to hear what he has to say. But I am absolutely convinced that if we don't have a vote, voting down assault weapons, we will have more deaths.
And that is on the far right there holding the sign with the beard. That's Representative Al Green, a Democrat of Texas. Hank Johnson is the gentleman with the red tie in the center. He's a Democrat from Georgia. And that was Gwen Moore, I believe. Can't quite see the video. Yes, Gwen Moore, a Democrat from Wisconsin, who was speaking at the podium. Let's go back to this Periscope House Democratic feed.
No break, no deal, no break, no deal, no break, no deal, no break, no deal, no.
Hi everybody, my name is Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News, and I am just so proud of the Democrats right now. I couldn't be prouder of the Democrats standing up to fight for your rights, against the NSA spying on you and taking away all your Fourth Amendment rights and collecting all the information off your 15-year-old daughter's cell phone because she might be a terrorist. I'm so proud of the Democrats for standing up against the Patriot Act and all of the right-killing bills that just make it so that America is not a free place anymore. I'm so proud of the Democrats for standing up and asking the FBI, why in the hell do people that you suspect of potential terrorism keep being successful at pulling off terrorist acts, terrorist events? Why in the hell, FBI? Why in the hell you people in Congress can't stand up and ask some really important fucking questions? Stand up to actually protect Americans. Because if the FBI was doing their job, this would not have happened. Orlando would not have happened. Boston Marathon would not have happened. If the FBI was actually there to protect the American people, if the NSA, who's busy collecting all of your daughter's fucking pictures, every single picture she's ever taken, your 15-year-old daughter, every single picture she's ever taken on her cell phone, regardless if she sent it to someone or not, regardless if she posted it on the internet or not, the FBI, the NSA is collecting every one of those pictures of your 15-year-old daughter. So you know. And instead of doing that and focusing on potential actual terrorist threats, the terrorists are getting away with their little plots, at least according to the FBI and the NSA and the CIA, who obviously are way overpaid. But we're going to hear how they do their job so heroically and they need more resources so they can actually prevent things like this. Bullshit. John Lewis should be ashamed. This whole shut down Congress, gun control sit-in is supposed to be led and the brainchild of John Lewis. Okay? John Lewis has been in actual sit-ins before. He knows what an actual sit-in is. This was nothing but theater. Okay, and I can prove that it's nothing but theater. In a sit-in, you sit down and you make your demands. You make your little speeches. You do your little no bill, no break chants. And then when the bad guys come in, the people that you're sitting down against, the ones that and say, hey, it's time to have a vote. You don't all jump up and go do your fucking vote. You stay sitting down and you say, no business gets done until this happens. But these people are just doing theater. They're just going through the motions. You need more evidence? Why did it stop? How come they're not still sitting in? Why? Because they want to go on their 4th of July vacations. They'll say, oh, it's actually, I'll play a video here right after this of a congressman saying, oh, well, it'd be more effective when the Republicans are there. No, you would have the attention of the entire world focused on you while Republicans are off with their little picnics and their 4th of July vacations up in the lake, at the mountains, at the beach. You would have the attention, the 100% of attention. No Republicans distracting. You would have the attention. And the thing is, they keep saying 90% of the American people want this. If 90% of the American people wanted this, you would control the House of Representatives. You would control the Senate. And there'd be thousands of people outside the House of Representatives to support you. There's a couple hundred people out there. Oh, there's a bunch of people out front. You got to go out front. There's a couple hundred people out there. There'd be thousands. And if you sat there all through your 4th of July vacation, instead of going on your 4th of July vacation, you stood up there and you did what you said. If you were a man of your words, John Lewis, and did what you said, which is no bill, no break, you would have more and more people coming out and showing support. But you're not a man of your words. This is all just showmanship and theater. They don't give a damn about gun violence. What they want is the ability to limit your ability to protect yourself and your family. Because the Second Amendment ain't about hunting. It's about protecting yourself and your family from an overbearing, over-intrusive government. Like people who would take all the pictures off your 15-year-old daughter's phone. That kind of government. These people are full of shit. And I'm going to play a clip here now of Congressman Schiff and a CNN news model, Brianna, who did a really good job of pointing out and trying to hold them accountable that they're not doing no bill, no break. That the second it was break time, they all got off to go off on their 4th of July vacations because that's what's really important to them. Not whether or not more people are going to die from gun violence over the 4th of July weekend. What's really important to them is that they get to take the next 3 weeks off while you're out working your butts off. They're going to be off playing instead of doing what they said was, we're not going anywhere until we get a vote on gun violence bill. They're full of shit. It was all theater. It was just a stunt.
And joining me now to talk about this, one of the House Democrats who took part in the sit-in over guns, that's Congressman Adam Schiff of California. And you actually said you started about an hour in. This began spontaneously and you were there for about 18 hours. But why did you all decide to end it?
We don't have a mechanism in the House for a filibuster, and this was really our equivalent. In the House, the majority controls everything. So if they don't want to have a vote because they don't want to have their members held accountable, they can deny a vote and have for years on these gun measures. It came to an end for now. We fully intend to resume where we left off if necessary to get that vote, and we're determined to plow forward until we do. It's just, I think, indefensible for the Speaker to somehow claim that this is antithetical to democracy when he won't allow his own members to have a vote on this.
But I was watching the response publicly, and it seemed that certainly people in your corner, they were starting to take notice of what happened, and as they started to get behind you, they were even using the hashtag no bill, no break. But it seems like there was a break, and it seems like it had been said by, I think, Nancy Pelosi, this is going to keep going till hell freezes over, but it seems like it was hell freezes over until vacation starts. Doesn't that send a bad message about the dedication of the issue?
Well, it certainly sends a bad message about the majority's dedication to dealing with the problem of mass gun violence, because it was the majority that decided they were going to gavel this down. They were going to leave town without doing any of the unfinished business of the country, including address this problem of gun violence. So we're determined to take it up when we come back into session, so we're not talking merely among ourselves. And we intend to thwart the business of the House until we can compel a vote. And I think it really is a difficult thing for the Speaker to say that this is the people's House, we respond to what the country wants. But no, I'm not going to allow members of my own party or the other party to vote on this because we're afraid of the vote.
But the optics of saying we're determined to take this up after our vacation.
Well, that was a decision that the majority made, essentially, to recess without...
Should it have been different, do you think? Is that what you're saying?
I absolutely think that the majority should have stayed in session. Whether it would be productive for House Democrats...
But I mean, Democrats decided they could have... There's nothing stopping Democrats from staying on the House floor. This was being broadcast on social media, even though the official cameras had been turned off. Why not stay? Why not say we're going to stay through our vacation because this is our commitment?
You know, that was a debate that we had and a discussion we had with our leadership. We made the decision it would be more effective, frankly, to resume this when we all return, when, frankly, there's much more pressure on the GOP to act because there are measures they want to take up. They don't want to have to answer the questions we've been raising, and we thought we'd be more effective when they return to session.
There are a lot of complaints that people have about Congress where they feel that Congress isn't in session enough and that members of Congress are very dedicated to taking their time off instead of being in Washington. Doesn't it play into that perception?
You know, that's something, frankly, that's played up whenever Congress is out of session. But frankly, from my constituents' point of view, they want to have me in my district. They want to have meetings with me, and they want me to be accessible. They don't want me spending all my time in Washington. And there's, I think, a very popular misnomer that whenever we're not voting and in session in Washington, that we're somehow on vacation. Most of us are spending that time working in our districts, going to community meetings, and being most visible to our constituents, which is something they value. But here, you know, I completely agree that when there are broad issues before the country, like gun violence, like the Zika crisis, for the majority that has a responsibility to govern, to recess with all of these things unaddressed, I think is deeply irresponsible, and I think it reflects very poorly on the Congress.
If you sort of throw up your hands, though, and say the majority isn't going to allow us to be on the floor in regular order, so we're going to take over, and then you leave, and I hear you saying you do work at home, and certainly I understand that. Being home, talking to your constituents is very important, but when it comes to this issue on guns, are you better off being at home as individuals, or are you better off being in Washington doing something that's getting a lot of attention, maybe where you could actually bring awareness to the issue than dispersing and it goes away?
No, it's a fair strategic question, but I think the decision was made, and I think probably the right decision, that over time, frankly, the attention of the press on what we were doing on the House floor would dissipate over the recess because, frankly, the Republicans wouldn't be in town. We wouldn't be able to pressure them during the course of ordinary business. So I think it made more sense, frankly, to come back strong when we resume rather than have a petering out of the protest during the next couple of weeks. But we intend to take this up again and fight for that vote. And I think what is most distressing to the country is if the Republicans think this is bad policy, as they say, they ought to have the guts to bring it up and vote it down. But they don't. They want to hide. And so literally in the middle of the night, last night, they ran off to their districts and left all this unfinished business.
What does it look like when you come back? Will we see this again?
We will see this again, and I don't know.
There will be another sit-in.
Well, there will be, if necessary, another sit-in. Yes, a continuation of this. We are insisting on getting votes on this, and we think that the majority's position is really indefensible. And what we have done is we have raised the cost to them of inaction. Right now, and up until this point, they could fail to act. They could have their routine moments of silence after every mass shooting, and then do nothing. They know that doing nothing now will not go unnoticed, that we will call the nation's attention to it, and they're going to have to deal with this.
This is a bill about keeping those who are on the no-fly list or the terrorist watch list from purchasing firearms, something that about 9 in 10 Americans support, including the vast majority of Republicans. We'll be talking a lot more about that and why Congress isn't acting on this issue after a quick break.